Okay, it's okay, sir.
All right, thank you.
You have corrected.
With just a few weeks to the beginning of campaigns, political parties are already in a frenzy, chomping at the bit to go to town with their manifestos. Cases of switched names, imposition of candidates, and lack of internal democracy dog the steps of some parties as members threaten lawsuits and in some cases outright defection. Also on Political Update today, newer names on the ballot promise to give a good showing in 2023. Some say it will be politics as never seen before. We have these and others on the show. I am Fisayo Ogunfuyi. Welcome. Potential candidate of the new Nigeria People's Party NNPP, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, has appealed to government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU to resolve the lingering strike action in the interest of the nation. Kwankwaso was speaking in Lokoja, Kogi State.
The NPP presidential candidate Musa Rabiu Kwankwaso lamented the lingering ASU strike in view of its effect on Nigeria's university education system, with students worst hit. The disruption of academic activities, he emphasized, will aggravate issues of youth restiveness, insecurity, and crime in the polity.
It's an opportunity for me to appeal to the federal government and the ASU on the other hand to come back as quickly as possible to negotiating table so that our children can go back to the universities. It doesn't help anybody.
He has since left the state.
The NNPP says it has put finishing touches to its campaigns, focusing on key sectors of the nation's economy. The party believes it is the one to beat in 2023. Now, joining us from Kaduna via Zoom is Suleiman Uthman Nkuyi, governorship candidate of the NNPP in Kaduna State. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. All
right, let's move to some of the recent happenings, because you just presented your running mate a few days ago. What is the mood in camp?
Well, fact of the matter is that we have always been part of the belief that politics is about people, is about people, is about people. Democracy, which we are drivers of in concept, in principles, and in ideology, is to do with the people. What we have succeeded in doing is what no political party or politician has ever done in the history of the polity in Kaduna State. We have been able to choose from our rank and file an astute gentleman from a very prominent group of people in our own state, that is Dr. Sani Mazawa J, as the deputy gubernatorial running mate of the NNPP come 2023. And it is the result of painstaking process of definitely taking back to the people what belongs to the people. And what the people have presented us with is what the NNPP has taken up the stakes to a very, very high rate, as it has never been here in the polity in Kaduna State.
All right, so let me ask you this. You've walked this road before. It was a bit slippery at the time. Is it firmer now for you, and what are you doing differently?
What we are doing differently is that the people are getting wiser differently by the gimmicks. Their people are now more determined to bring what they want in governance at various levels. That is what is happening differently today. More so, I have walked the path before. Yes, 2003, I stood the election of governor under a different platform, another party. And today I'm standing also under the NNPP, which is an option and definitely a process which the people of Kaduna State welcome in their numbers.
Now, the NNPP, we are hearing a lot of it, especially coming from the north and other parts of the country. You seem to have come to this stage so very quickly. What have you been able to do to reach out at this time, especially as we get closer by the day to the 2023 general elections?
Well, as we get closer, it is eminent, definitely, for Nigerians around that Nigerians want and are yearning for a better government, for a better set of people in governance around the country. So we taking advantage of this, definitely, no doubt about that. But also Nigerians are taking advantage of credible alternative platform that we are putting before them. So it is an outing, you may want to say, that is providing for Nigerians what democracy definitely in principles offer for them, and that is credible options. And that is what we are offering.
All right, a lot of people are taking these options. Some people say some have jumping ship to get into your boat as well. Is there any place for ideology in all of this, or is a case of population census? Let's count the numbers.
Of course, there is. There is no doubt about that. The result of what the NNPP today arrived with is resultant from the lack of ideology that exists, particularly the principles of democracy, which other parties have trampled upon and making a lot of people, tested politicians, jumping ships. They are jumping ships because internal democracy is lacking in the terrain within the two most prominent parties of our time today. Secondly, of course, we are offering, it is the result of painstaking process over a year for the NNPP to assemble on the front line through the medium of the TNM, which was launched before the advent of the reincantation of the NNPP, which was relaunched. And today, Nigerians are having the benefit of the representation of group of people who are known, tested, and are trusted to a great extent over time. And that is why you could see the zeal in Nigerians to embrace this new concept, because in it exists not only an ideology, but if you check the manifesto of the NNPP, as the name suggested, it is for indeed a relaunched Nigeria. It is for a new Nigeria. It is supposed to be for a Nigeria of different outing, not what we are seeing today, not what Nigerians are tired of today.
All right, Senator, before I let you go, because I have to also note that even your ship that has just sailed a few months ago, some are even still jumping from there also. But it's not to belabor that. Are we likely to see issue-based discussions and campaigns this time, and no more slinging across different platforms?
Well, there is slinging from different platforms is over.
I'm saying much slinging, you know, when the campaign starts. I hope there won't be too much, character bashing and all that. We will see issue-based campaigns.
When characters are bad, it is good for Nigerians to know that some characters are bad. There is nothing wrong with that in politics. When parties have something to show, it's good for them to show. And you can only show and understand the difference when there are comparative analysis. You cannot bar that, you cannot ban that, and that is the beauty of politics, and that is the beauty of democracy.
All right, for the past about 12, 15 minutes, we've had Senator Suleiman Othman Nkuyi. He is the governorship candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party in Kaduna State. We wish you the best, and we hope that you will still answer us when we call, especially when the campaign starts, so that we can hear in terms of different outlines that you have for your state.
The NTA and your good self will be welcome in the government house come May 29th, 2023. Thank you so much.
I know the address, sir, so thank you very much. All right, we will move on very shortly. Supporters of the PDP candidate for East and Northeast constituency in Edo State Assembly elections, Moses Wadai, have described as unacceptable a recent development where the duly elected candidate was allegedly denied a certificate of return. They are urging the leadership of the party to intervene in the matter.
Supporters of the candidate expressed shock at the development, which they say amounts to injustice and rubbishing the effort of the people. They sought to know why certificate of return should be issued to a candidate who did not partake in the primary at Uromi, adding that they have the evidence of what transpired during the conduct of the primary.
The party asked us to do primary. We did. We nominate Moses Wadai as our House of Assembly representative. But what I'm hearing now, because they want to swallow Uromi, they now turn it to the wrong side.
I was the agent to Moses Wadai, and be counted that Moses Wadai won the election.
My advice for them, the political actors, let them come together. Let them come together and see how they can resolve this matter. Consider the man. The young man has been traumatized. The young man has been traumatized by this, this dastardly act that have put him in a very unexplainable situation.
Some members of the party have appealed to the leadership of the party to, as a matter of urgency, reinstate Moses Wadai, who was duly elected in the interest of peace.
Now, member representing Ikwa Umaya North and South Federal Constituency of Abia State, Honorable Sam Onuigbo, joins us today for our second conversation. This scenario we have seen play out in Edo State, East and North, is not new to you. You yourself, consider yourself a victim of some of these things, but you have gone to court. What can we do to stem the tide of these impositions and duplication of names and all kinds of brigandage that we're seeing, in the different parties?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, viewers. What we can do and what we're actually doing as the National Assembly is we've come up with the Electoral Act 2022. And the provisions of the Act are clear and succinct. It's not ambiguous at all. So if the party administrators, the major stakeholders who oftentimes instigate this confusion, if they keep to the provisions of this Act, we'll probably not have this confusion, because the Act says clearly, beginning from sections 29(1) to 84(1), 84(13), that you must follow these provisions and ensure that you hold primaries. In 84(1), it says the primary election shall be monitored by the commission. They are referring to INEC. And then in 84(13), if your party fails to follow these laid down procedures, then your candidate will not be accepted. It's very clear. So we're also going ahead to talk about the electoral offenses, commission, so as to checkmate these the excesses, because there must be an end to impunity. And if we are making these laws, the laws are intended to guide both INEC and other practitioners in whatever we are doing to consolidate and deepen and broaden our democratic practice.
And, let's take a step back a little, because I saw you on TV with, the chairman committee on INEC, Senate Committee on INEC as well, talking about the Electoral Offences Commission. Also, we have the Electoral Act, the new Electoral Act, providing for so many things. Are they going to be working in tandem, or what extra will the commission be doing, since most of these things are clearly spelled out also in the Electoral Act? Why can't we just even, enforce with law enforcement agencies, for instance?
Well, it's been difficult, absolutely difficult, to get that, to get the law enforcement agents to prosecute the cases involving so many people. For instance, we have on record that in 2011, INEC had over 870 or so thousand electoral offenses. Yet, we also have on record that INEC has not been able to prosecute up to 1% of that, 2011 till date. So it's obvious that INEC is overburdened with so many other administrative responsibilities, so many other things that they have to do to see that we have a free, credible, and of course, transparent election. But to now add to it the challenge of prosecuting these hundreds of thousands of cases is to ask INEC to do too much. And in the law does not give INEC power to prosecute. So the Electoral Offences Commission will go out there, investigate these cases, and have the powers from the provisions of this bill to be able to prosecute. So that's what is missing. If people are said to have committed offenses, and the offenses are there, and there's no prosecution, that's a way of emboldening other people to go ahead and do the same thing or even more, because they know the law will not catch up with them.
All right, let's come to the scenario, in Abia Central District. What is the situation now, especially putting into consideration that at the end of this month, campaigns will begin in earnest? What is the party saying? What is the status? And who is campaigning? Or who will campaign?
Well, until the courts give their decisions, I'm sure that everyone, especially those who are pretending to have the tickets, that they will continue to go around and say they are campaigning. However, it's clear, after the primary election, which involved 4 of us in Abia Central, and only 2 of us participated because the Senator Nkechi Nwogu withdrew in writing, and the other gentleman, Honorable K.C. Owaja, he took ill and did not even survive that ailment because he did not come. So it was just myself and Chief Enrico who participated in the primary election. And by the grace of God, I won. And today, to the glory of God, Chief Enrico has been appointed a Minister of the Federal Republic. So I am alone. Now, to see that somebody is falling from the skies like a UFO to say I'm a candidate is something that is very strange. And this is kind of impunity that we're talking about that. By the grace of God, the cause will help us to end. But we should also call on the parties, the administrators, the stakeholders, that they don't continue to put Nigeria in a bad light by engaging in this kind of practice. But I have no doubt that the Nigerian judiciary will be able to handle this. I think one case was decided either yesterday or so at the federal capital, where again we had a similar situation. Someone who did not participate just came down like a Spider-Man and was trying to claim that position. And the court said no, that's an illegal conduct.
In short, the court was able to cut the web.
Yeah,
I want to believe. Let's move forward very quickly, then we'll come back to you as well. The presidential candidate of the Accord Party, Christopher Imumulen, says his message to Nigeria will focus on a rebuild in different sectors of the nation's economy, and he was speaking to leaders of his support groups ahead of campaigns for the 2023 general election.
For presidency is only an opportunity to do more. That is just it. If we can affect the life of people, look at those students, they're all JPJ students, dancing, and I look at them. Beyond just giving education, how can we also make their life better? I believe all the problems in Nigeria can be solved if we have good leadership. Leaders that are willing to sacrifice to ensure that Nigerians see the light of the day.
All right, campaign season is here. For politicians, it seems as if you would almost take a persona of 2 people. trying to make sure that the people get the dividends of democracy, at the same time whispering in people's ears that allow me to come back?
Sure. What makes our own position, I'm talking about those who have been represented and those who have been able to demonstrate clearly, unambiguously, that, look, people queued in the sun and in the rain to elect you. That's why it is important that you recognize that this is a sacred responsibility. And how do you pay them? It's difficult for you to go to their houses one by one to pay over 100 and something thousand persons that participated in the election. The best way to pay them is to render services. Services that are verifiable. Services that have the potential to impact on their well-being. So that next time, when they are voted, they know they are going to benefit something from you, from their services. So that's what we are taxed with. And it is a little bit difficult for those who have not been able to either represent, or they'll just be saying, I promise to do this. But for us, we should be able to say, I've been able to do this, do that, and you can verify.
Some of you and your colleagues, after going around like this, what we now see is very tall fences and tinted glasses.
Well, that's why it is difficult to, it's said that sometimes the mechanics make it difficult for you to distinguish between the mad people on the street and the normal people. But we are now all in politics now, so it becomes difficult to distinguish. But I have a record to run on, and these things are there for people to see. So I do not engage in the business of making frivolous promises. If you go to my federal constituency today, you will find projects that have been successfully executed, that I facilitated. And there are many. If you want to talk about the road from Umuahia to Iguana to Ikotek, which is about 54 kilometers, I started working on how to facilitate that road from the 14th of June 2016. And today, as we speak, the federal government is reconstructing, doing a total reconstruction of that road. It's ongoing. And it's costed the federal government 13.2 billion. It took me this length of time to work with the Minister of Power, of Works and Housing. He used to be Minister of Power, Works and Housing. That was when I started. Babatunde Raji Fashola, SAN. And the federal government came around and that road has been awarded. I have also been part of what they are doing about another road that is crossing from Imo and is going to pass through Imo River, starting from Imo State. It's going to pass through Imo River to another section of my federal constituency, which is Omowawa, and then coming down to Obaka, very close to Umuahia. That one too, the construction is going on. It was awarded in 2020, and on the 12th of November 2020, we met with the minister, myself and Honorable Emeka Chinedu from the other part of the state. And the minister assured that they were going to start construction. I'm happy to report that construction has been moving on that road. We have several other, projects, erosion control that I was able to facilitate. And upon completion, the presidency was so impressed that Mr. President sent out ministers on several occasions to come and commission these different projects. So there are very many things. We don't even talk about things like blocks of classrooms, transformers, electricity projects, hospitals. These things, by the grace of God, I've been able to facilitate. So when I come and say I would like to represent, I like my constituents to look at what I've been able to do, and then based on that, they now take action. And they've really been supporting me, because you may know that I'm the first person within my federal constituency to be re-elected since 1999. So, and it's not something that was purchased, it was something that was earned.
All right, on that note, we'll round up political update, because the viewers are always re-electing us as the, the television station to watch when it comes to news, reviews, previews, and interviews. My name is Fisa Agufi. Thanking you for staying tuned. We'll be back again to give you another episode of this program. And don't forget, the political season is upon us. As we always say, play your politics for the greater good. Bye-bye now.